Hello, everyone. My name is Dean. I'm here to discuss some aspects about SQLyog that will help you improve your productivity while you're working with it. Also, what we're going to do is a little bit different today. We're going to discuss some aspects about SQLyog that will help you understand why you should use it. And while we do that, we will do something different that will also help you experience how SQL can improve your life. So let's begin. All right. So we are here to discuss SQL and the key differences and benefits of using it. So what we are going to do today is understand how SQL is different. We are going to understand what are the benefits of using SQL. As usual, we will understand the license structure, but we'll also do a floating walkthrough. So what's a floating walkthrough? Where we will discuss SQLyog as usual, but instead of going through just the slides, we are also going to work on and understand it through the application itself. So this is the interface for SQLyog. This is how it looks. And we will go through this and understand some of the aspects. And as we discuss why SQLyog is better than other solutions and what are the differences and benefits of using SQLyog, we'll also go through some of the features and it will help you understand interactively why you should be using SQLyog in your life as well. So let's begin. So how is SQLyog different from any other database management solution? Well, it's a mature, fast, and robust management solution. So what does that mean? It means that it is a solution that helps you keep your work. It's quite mature. It keeps you, keeps everything stable and understands your needs. So let's say if your PC crashed and you wanted to, quickly access your work again on a different PC, or let's say on the same PC after you have recovered it, what you can do is you can just pull up this a particular aspect of SQLyog, and you can actually go ahead and resume your work. You can do that by using a small little feature that we'll discuss later. It's under Tools, Preferences, Others. You can just select this particular option that's called Restore Session on Startup. That will restore the session on startup. Now, you can also pull up SQLyog, install it on a different machine, and access it using the session save point. Let's say if you have saved a session, and you can open that particular session save point by importing the file on a new PC. So that way, SQLyog will help you resume your work. It's something that is quite fast, so you can just move through your different servers by clicking on these tabs. So this way you can, switch through different servers that you have connected through SQLyog. It will help you, understand what is happening in your database. You can move through different databases by switching databases from this panel directly. And it is something that is quite robust. It will, stay there and be there whenever you need, and will help you with database management. Now, what else is there? But there is an excellent import and export functionality. So what does it do? So it not only just imports and exports data, as we can see from here. It can also import and export connections. So all you need to do is just import and export some of the connections that you have, and you can do that through this particular option. You can also import and export the data as well. So let's say if you wanted to import a data, all you need to do is go to import and go to import external data under table. You can also actually get there by pressing Control Alt O. Once you do that, all you need to do is click on next and select the resource that you want to use to import the external data. So you can not only import through any ODBC compliant source, you can do it through CSV, Excel, or Access files. You can select those files through your PC. This is just the important part. You can also actually export it by clicking on this. You can export, not only just export the data or for a one-time backup, you can actually schedule that particular export so that SQLyog can help you, back up your entire data and use Windows Scheduler to back it up. Now, uh, this is something that is also quite useful. So you also have an option of exporting connection details. So this is something that will enable you to transfer connection details to other machines that you can use later to import to SQLio. You can import export connection from the tools tab. You can just need to go to tools, and you will just need to go to export and import connection details, and export or import the connection details that you have. So that's one of the other functionality that makes it different. Now, we also have features like Visual Schema Designer, which is quite great for documentation and change management. So, what is a Visual Schema Designer? So, SQLyog's Schema Designer is another visual interface that will allow the table and the table structure to be defined. So you can define it, display it, and manipulate it using the schema designer. It is something that provides you a graphical overview of your databases. So you can get there by pressing Control Alt D to open a new schema designer in a SQLyog tab. You can also just press on this plus icon to initiate a new schema designer. So once you do that, you will see that the layout is quite similar to the query builder tab. As you can see from here, the layout is similar. There is a canvas on which you can move your tables and manipulate them. So you will just need to move tables from the object browser. You just need to, this is the object browser. You just need to open one of the databases. As I've done here, go to one of the tables, pick it up, drag it over here, and this is something that you can do by just clicking on some things. So you can just click on the table and move it over here, and it will display it like here. Now this is something that will allow you to manipulate the data. So you'll be able to move tables from the object browser into the canvas code. Then you'll be able to manage indexes, alter table, and manage foreign keys. So you can connect different tables using primary keys in them to create a foreign key. Now let's say if there is no primary key, the schema designer will propose it to create a unique key. So once you have this, you can just go ahead and create a primary key. This is where you can save it. Now, this is how you work on a visual schema designer in SQLyog. Now, what else is there? You can actually also never lose work. So there is an option that you can access by just pressing Control Shift S that will allow you to access saved sessions. As we discussed at the beginning of this webinar, you can just go here, click on File, and select a session point from here, or save this particular session. Once you do that, you'll be able to access this particular session. If there is any kind of crash, then you can just go ahead and select that particular old session and pick it up from there. Or as I mentioned before, you can simply go to preferences and select that option that will allow you to resume your work on the startup. So that is one of the things that makes SQLyog different from other database management solutions. Now, as I mentioned before, you can use the session restore option to avoid any crash on startup. We'll get into it a bit further later. Now, there are other nifty features like autocomplete that enhances its usability. So, what exactly is autocomplete? So, it is something that helps you automatically work on. Let's say if you have a long query and you have to keep on typing it again and again and again. Autocomplete is something that will help you avoid that. It is something that will quickly, quickly use some of the keywords that it has to ease typing. So it will ease typing in a long query for or for DB object names, names of MySQL work keywords and functions. So some of the keywords and functions are shipped with SQLU. So those keywords and function will be automatically filled. So for every connection that it uses, it will retrieve and maintain a list of object DB names for each connection. So this is something that you can do. You just need to put in a keyword like we do that right now, and it will say just press tab to insert. And when we press tab, the keyword will automatically get inserted. So this is one of the small features that differentiates SQLyog from other database management solutions. Now, what are the benefits of using SQLyog? SQLyog is a lightweight user interface for MySQL DB management. It does not have any performance overload. It opens up quickly and it installs quite quickly. So this will allow it to make sure that if you work on it, then you won't face any kind of issues or lags while you're using it. So this will also not cause any performance overload in your server or on the PC that you're working on. So because it's a quite lightweight solution. Now we have migration tools that will help you copy to a different host or a databases. So we have plenty of migration tools that help you do that. Those migration tools are available in the Power Tool feature. So the Power Tool, some of the Power Tools we have will allow you to migrate the data using database synchronization wizard, or you visual data comparison wizard that will allow you to migrate the data. So what happens is that often users require a local backup of their data. Now there are some few archaic ways to do that. You can use a scripting language, or use PHP to delete all the data from local database and insert it again from the master server. Sometimes this approach works for some individuals, but as data size increases, or if you're working in a large organization, the whole process slows down and it becomes a chore. So what we do provide is database synchronization that will allow you to replicate data between two MySQL servers. Now, this is something that can be accessed by just pressing the keyboard letters Control Alt W, or you can just go to Power Tools and then initiate this particular feature. We provide several connectivity options, as you can see. So once you have selected the server on which you want to work on, and once you have selected the database that you want to work on, which we're doing it right now, all you need to do is just select the worker, so select the server and select the particular database that you want to work on, and just click on next. So we have several connectivity options: MySQL direct connection, we have HTTP tunneling, we have SSH tunneling, a more secure way to tunnel into your MySQL server. Or we can use the SSL encryption to use encrypted connection for those who are worried about security. Once we do that, you just need to click on next and select the kind of synchronization. So this particular migration is something that will help you you know understand how to manipulate data, work on move data from one database to another without doing a lot of work. You can also move it from that database to yours by using a two-way synchronization. So this is something that we have discussed in previous webinars. One-way synchronization will allow you to sync the data in the target database. Two-way sync will allow you to not only just sync the data in target database, but also sync the data and change it in the source database. That is something that you can do. You can select the kind of tables, or you can select all the tables within the database that you want to sync. Then you just need to click on next and proceed from there. So we have some migration tools. As we discussed before, we have SSH tunneling and SSL connections. So this is also something that is a key part of SQLyog. Uh, so we have several connectivity options. We use a direct connection, or HTTP tunneling, or SSH tunneling, or SSL connections. Now, SSH tunneling and SSL connections are more secure way of connecting to your MySQL server. So you use SSH tunneling if you need to encrypt the contents of your MySQL traffic, but still want the efficiency of the MySQL API connection. So if you host support SSH tunneling, SQLU can be used to tunnel to communicate with the MySQL server. SSL encryption will allow all the communication between SQLU and the MySQL server to be encrypted. The MySQL server must support this option to use it. Now, we also, SQLyog will also help you, quickly diagnose, check, repair, and analyze and optimize your MySQL databases. That is something that it does quite quickly. And as we discussed before, it is quite stable. It rarely crashes and has a session restore in case it does. Now, uh, I can also, keep on working on this, and, keep on telling you various features and all the things that I believe are important about SQLU. However, I would like to also provide you some feedback from some of our clients. This one is a recent one that will help you understand why SQLU is actually much better than other solution. So this is something that some of our clients have told us, and something that we may have overlooked, but is quite useful for day-to-day users. So it opens quickly. As I mentioned before, SQLyog has a low performance overhead, so it opens so quickly. You can quickly get a start, your work, and while your colleagues are still booting up the system, you can just go ahead and pop up SQLyog and continue your work. So this is quite an important thing. Now, it also provides you confidence in long-running batch jobs. So if you have a long-running batch job, or if you have long-running queries that you want to keep on typing over and over again, it is because of features like autocomplete, it is quite useful, and it can be done quite quickly. So that will provide you confidence in working those jobs via SQL. We have a tree view to view tables and procedure, and you can effectively filter that. You can just click on this plus to view the tables, not only tables, but you can view views, you can view stored procedures. All those things can be done by just clicking on it. So everything is a click away in SQLU, and you can check them out by using this object browser. You can examine table data, and in a couple of weeks clicks you can go ahead and share it to Excel. So you can go ahead and add any kind of filter data. Once you have worked on the query, you can go to this particular option and go to table data to see the table data for that particular option. So that is something that can be viewed here. So once you have seen the table data, you can also actually share it across your teams in an Excel format. That's up to you. And once you have done that, you can understand and move your work across your team members' PC as well. Now, you can troubleshoot performance issues under 5 seconds. That is also something that SQLyog will do. You will quickly be able to understand where is the problem. You will quickly be able to work on it by just clicking on them and understanding what's happening. Now, we can also transfer data between servers. As you can see, I have connected multiple servers to SQLyog here. You can transfer the data between them. All you need to do is just, again, go to Power Tools, and you can just compare the data visually. You can click on Next, and you can select the server on which you want to work and transfer that data, by visually viewing it between two different servers. So this is something that makes SQLyog a unique client to work on. Now, there is another feature that helps you differentiate SQLyog from other solution, it is quite customizable. So you can configure the SQLyog's user interface. SQLyog gives you an option to configure user interface by moving the table data info or history tab on the upper or lower panel. So you can go to tools and preferences, and then you can go to general, and you can select this particular option. So here it is. You can move the positioning here. There is an option to move the table data under query tab. You can check that. There is an option to move the info under query tabs. You can check that as well. And history under query tabs. You can check that as well. Once you do that, this will be moved here. You can uncheck them to move it up there. It's up to you on how you work on it. Now, SQLyog has another feature that's called read-only mode. So it's quite important because read-only is useful for those users whom you do not want to give write privileges, but someone like an intern or a new guy, new joinee who is new in the team and wants to understand how to use SQLyog without actually causing any havoc, you can provide them an access through read-only mode. So how to do that? All you need to do is initiate a new connection. You can just click on this icon to do that. So once you do that, you will have an option to do it through a read-only connection. This is the option here that will allow you to do that. So what is a read-only connection? It is something that enforces read-only through client side from the SQLyog's graphical user interface, and the editor, no matter if the user's server side privileges allows for write or not, will only be able to read it. So in read only mode, you'll only be able to retrieve data from the server, use user variables, define a session scope of server variables, and everything else you need to work with data as long as you do not need to write on to the server. Now, in the GUI, controls that trigger statements that write to the database are grayed out. So you'll be able to, if you are using read-only mode, you'll not be able to do anything on that grayed out sections. In the editor, the statements will be caught and are not sent. So this is the read-only mode. As you can see, you just need to select this particular option to test a connection and then connect to read-only mode. So this is something that, my friends, some of the aspects of SQLyog that will help you improve your work life. Now, as usual, uh, we will go through some license structure information at the end of this webinar, like we did in all the other webinars, because this is also an important aspect of SQLyog. Uh, Before we do that, let's do a quick overview. What we discussed today was what is SQLyog, why is it something that you can use in your daily work, what makes it different from other database management solutions, and what is something that are the key benefits of using SQLyog, and then what our clients can tell you about the benefits of using SQLyog. So those were some important points, and here's another one. That's the license structure. The license, as I mentioned before, is perpetual. You can pay once and use it for as long as you need. You can install it on multiple machines, on a home PC and a work PC. If you use a multi-user license, you can distribute it across your teams. Um, Now, the trial version does not have an option to register to a full version. You will need to buy a license for it. Once you purchase a license, you will receive a welcome email with the credential to the WebView customer portal area. The portal will contain the latest license installer 64-bit and the registration code for your license. If you are planning for a site license or an unlimited license, it will allow for silent installation as well. That means you'll be able to install SQLyog over all the machines, all the PCs in your organization over a network. Now, what are the trial limitations for SQLyog? So there are some trial limitations as we discussed before. Um, the data sync will only allow 2 tables per job executed. Uh, Scheduled backup will only allow 2 objects to be exported per job executed. 2 objects may be of identical type or a different type. The import external data tool will only allow 2 tables to be exported or migrated per job executed. Now, once you have gone through a trial, even if you have a license, you can get help for SQLyog by through these emails. So one of the emails that is very important is for support team. They are available at IDERA MySQL support at idera.com. You can also contact me directly at dean@idera.com. If you have a technical query, I'll help you connect with the support team. If you have any other queries, I'll do my best to help you out. You can drop me an email to get any discounted license offer on a new license purchase or on a renewal. I'm also available on the intercom chat box at webyog.com. You can look me up there. So, friends, this was SQLyog's webinar, a quick presentation to understand what are the benefits of using SQLyog and what are the key differences. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions. I'm there to help you out. Thanks for your time. Have a blessed day. Stay safe.